Hello, 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 everybody. We're here for the Martine Show. And we're going to wait on Jackie Trinity to come through so that we could get started. What's up, Sam? It's been a long time. How are you? Good to see you on. So, guys, we're going to start as soon as Jackie Trinity comes in. She's our guest for tonight. We're going to be interviewing her, celebrating her, continue on our series for Women's Month. We're celebrating women in our lives. And Jackie Trinity happens to be someone in leadership when it comes to women empowerment. So we're pleased to have her on. Once she logs in, we will connect her. Thank you so much, Sam. So happy to see you on. I'm doing pretty good myself. I can't complain. We're doing okay. And how are you? So guys, the Martine Show basically is about self-love. It's a self-love journey. And we highlight on self-awareness, self-development, as well as everything social. Everything that we do discuss comes from the interviewee. It's all about the interviewee. Sam is saying, good, I'm glad. I'm always good. You know that. Yes, but I always have to ask to make sure. I'm glad. How is your daughter? Your beautiful Bella. Oh, that's sweet. Awesome, awesome, Sam. I'm glad everything is going well. So now we're waiting for Jackie to come through. So just bear us. We may get a little bit of technical difficulties, I guess. How is Rizzle, Sam? How are you doing on Rizzle? Yes, I hear you, Sam. That's good. Okay, Miss Jackie. Yes, she's here. All right. Now, hello, Miss Lady.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I was trying to find a space where I can have my space so I can talk and focus on you.
Okay, okay. But you know this is all about you tonight, right?
It's always about us. It's a
Okay,
collective energy force. We have this collective energy force.
okay, okay. So, welcome aboard, Miss Jackie Trinity,
Thank you.
aka Women Networking Worldwide. I said correctly, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. Because sometimes I get tongue twisted and I'm like, so I want you to introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, and then we're going to take it from there.
So I'm going to start by saying I am limitless and I am more than enough.
Yes.
So are all
Oh
of
my
us.
goodness.
Yes. And I want to say that that's applicable to all men, women, however you identify yourself, everybody. We are limitless and we are more than enough. And I think it's always important to have that connective flow. Like I said, that energy, because we need that. We need that. We need compassion. We need kindness. We need love. We need it. We're in desperate need of it now.
For
So,
sure.
absolutely.
For sure.
So, um, it's always a trick question. I think when people say introduce yourself, some
Mm-hmm.
people feel that way because I like to be a humble individual. I think that my most prideful moment or the most prideful title that I have is being a mom. For me, because that's bringing in people into the world, you know, like I have my 4 kids. I love them the same, but I love them differently because they're 4 individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that. I respect their opinion. I respect their voice. I encourage it because when I was younger, and my parents did great with what they had, you know,
Absolutely.
um,
Mm-hmm.
with their upbringing. I think it's important for my kids, and I always say that it's important to respect your feelings, your emotions, and honor yourself, and always use your voice, especially when it comes to young men, you know, in our society, um, because they're judged by how they look, their last name, and what they're wearing.
Oh yeah.
So it's always been a challenge, you know. So I'm, besides being a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a resource individual, and I like to look at myself as someone who's a connector. I like to always support people. I am notorious. I'm going to have arthritis in my finger because when it comes to IG or Facebook, when I see women out there doing their thing or being so brave and courageous, saying, I went through depression, I went through up and down with weight, I went through being a survivor, I went through all these things, or when they're sharing checklists, you know, how to overcome this or how to overcome that, or here's something to do so you can inspire yourself or feel positive. Or if I see someone who's starting a business or doing something like that that really resonates with me, I love to pass it forward. I always love to tag, not to tag, but to share and repost. I think it's important that if we
Mm-hmm.
support ourselves that way, that's better
Mm-hmm.
than monetary, because I can buy glasses from you and spend
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and that's it. But
Yeah, that's one time purchase. Mm-hmm.
exactly. But now when I go on your page and I see you're posting about this and you're posting about that, and we've had this conversation, that I'll speak to a woman or a young lady or even male friends. Oh, you know, my mom is going through this or my sister's going through that and she's going through whatever personal, and I'm like, an example, fibroids. That's something that's really
Mm-hmm.
big for women. A lot of people don't know this, how they suffer, the
Mm-hmm.
feelings, the feeling of being drained and all those things. And when I have people that talk to me and they share that someone who's loved or their loved one is going through that, I always think of, how can I connect that person? How can I create an opportunity for resource? And I've done that with you, and we had that conversation, that I'm able to say, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm going to connect you with someone who's going to be able to talk to you or give you support, something. And I'll reach
Mm-hmm.
out and say, Martine, I want to connect you with so and so. I always like to be respectful and ask first and then make that connection. So
Mm-hmm.
in saying that, I've always done that when it comes to community work that I've done, whether it was while working in law enforcement or while I was in the military. I do it with my kids, whether it's supporting school basketball, the cheerleading, or I was a baseball mom, I was a dojo mom, I was a basketball mom, I was a dance mom. I've been all those kind of moms. And it's always about reaching out, connecting, celebrating each other, especially all the moms and aunts and grandmothers that take part in everything. It's something that we should always do. So that's what I
Absolutely.
do. That's who I am. That's what I like to do.
Awesome. I love it. And yes, you have connected me with quite a few people referencing related to fibroids, and I do thank you for that. And I always love your vibe, you know. I she wants he wants to know how many kids, how many girls or boys you have.
Okay, I have 3 sons and 1 daughter.
Yeah. Because you're
Okay.
like, I have like so many kids. So yes, you definitely always connecting people, which is really nice. And with that being said, you do it so naturally. And I guess that's one of the reasons why you created Women Networking Worldwide,
Hmm.
because that's what you do anyway.
Yeah, I
So
want to do it
it
on a bigger
actually,
level. Yeah, I want to reach out to everybody. And I always say when I do all my posts on my Women's Networking Worldwide page, I always put, because I never want to exclude anybody. I know what it is to feel excluded, to feel like
mm,
an outcast, to feel
mhm.
back then feeling weird is something that people love now. People love feeling weird now because you have
Yeah,
to be unique in your weirdness because you're
yeah.
one of a kind. So you see how things have changed. So yeah, I want to be able to do it on a world level, connecting people. But I always say, and it's important to say, all are welcomed, all are honored, and it's applicable to
Mm-hmm.
anybody. It's
Mm-hmm.
applicable to anybody, you know. I think it's important. It's just like I adore and love and cherish women and how we're supposed to empower each other. And it's about collaboration, you know, over competition. Let's work together, let's talk together, let's jive together, let's, you know, vibe together. And that goes for men too, because I know amazing men that are very supportive of women. Amazing,
Yes,
amazing single
yes.
fathers, amazing brothers, amazing husbands, amazing partners. I know them. So I know that
Mm-hmm.
they're out there. And I think that they should be highlighted and celebrated as well.
For sure, for sure. One thing I want to ask you is that you have done conferences, and which I attended at one,
Mm-hmm.
and I really did enjoy that. And it was a mixture of a lot of different useful topics that were basically um, essential for business oriented type of women, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about what you had put together is not only the ability to connect with other women, but it was very resourceful. You gave us actually tons of useful information that we can always utilize. And the contacts that you had there, I'm still in contact with them. I'm still following them. You
Good.
know, I'm still like, I believe Andrea Farrington. Yeah, I follow
Yeah.
her like there's no tomorrow. And what I'm trying to say is that the matchup of how we connect from your organization is just so prime, you know. And I
Thank you.
don't know if you know that. Like, there's a lot of value there, and everything, and the people that you actually choose, and the ones who attend. It's just
Mm-hmm.
altogether very, very powerful, extremely powerful. You
Thank
know.
you. And I learned one thing, that when all that comes together like that, it's because you put a lot of intention into it. One of the things that I've been posting and hashtagging is about love intentionally. So there's
Mm-hmm.
all forms of love and there's all types of love. And this is a conversation that I had with a very good friend of mine, a fellow Scorpio. He's an amazing educator, um, Omar King McCrae. And we talk about, you know, love and how it brings people together. But usually when you talk about love, and I shared with him, was you usually think about negative, like, oh yeah, love, oh yeah, I was heartbroken, I was this, I was that. And it's sad
Mm-hmm.
that that's the first impression, you know. And putting stuff together, whether it's a post, even when I post stuff, I always look at it 2 and 3 times because I want to put it out there with intent. I want
Mm-hmm.
that love, that intentional love. I want it to, even if it reaches one person, one of my
Mm-hmm.
posts, as long as they got something out of it, then it was a success. It doesn't have to reach a
Absolutely.
hundred people, because some people might like, okay, but it's different when you read it and you're like, oh wow, and you share it.
Yeah.
It really meant
I,
something, you know?
I love the concept that you have, because I have the same exact concept, you know. It's never been about the numbers for me. Never.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't matter like how many followers. It's about the impact all the
Yes,
time, you know, the
absolutely.
value. And it's very funny that you highlight that today, because, you know, sometimes, you know, you have people who want to pretty much post about them in their nice clothing or, a fashion thing, whatever. I'm sorry, but those particular posts don't really like adhere to me. They don't really
Yeah,
get me
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm very resourceful. It's about the inspiration, the motivation, and it's about like the value, the impact, something grabbing me and all that stuff. And those are the things that my brain looks for, you know?
Yes,
So the
yes,
same thing, the same way that you're posting things that are making a difference is what I'm actually looking to do in my life. And since I'm trying to do that in my life and be in that arena all the time, and that's what I look to post, and that's the message that I look to convey. You get what I'm
yes,
saying? Because
absolutely.
I used to have a page on Instagram with 5,000 somewhat people of me posting all about my hair, my clothing, and all that stuff. That was good, but that's my past. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work for me anymore. Neither do I care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get it. I got it. Yeah, yeah.
So
And but that's good because you already went through that. And
yeah,
you had that moment and you enjoyed the moment and now you're still growing and evolving. So now you're here. It's different. You had to go through there. You had to post all that. That was great. The hair,
yeah,
the earrings. Oh, that's so wonderful. But that's part of who you are. But
hmm,
it's a different feel. It's more symbolic. It's impactful. And you being impactful now came from that. You had to
yeah.
go through that. Yeah, that's great.
Yes,
No, absolutely.
absolutely. So I really understand where you're coming from when it comes to really trying to put out the value there and making sure that everybody's inclusive and you're not stepping on any toes or anything.
Hmm.
And it's open, it's wide open to all, which is really
Absolutely.
nice. And I see that your
Absolutely.
campaign is actually, you're looking to move your campaign really globally
Yeah,
at this point.
that's what I want.
I see it. I
I
see
want
it.
that. I want that. And it may be a slow pace, but it's going to be consistent. And you might not see me, but you're going to see my posts. So I'm still consistent. And, there are sometimes, and I always share this with people that are very close to me, but I'm going to share it with you and whoever else is hearing or listening or whatever. When I'm, especially on Facebook, because you're able to post things not pictures all the time. You can put a saying, certain words or whatever. When I go really hard and I'm posting 2, 3 things, food for thought or things of that nature, those are the times, and I don't have a problem admitting it. It makes me stronger when I'm feeling down about
Mm,
whatever, because we go through stuff, we go through depression and people deal with it different, or sometimes you're overwhelmed, like, oh my god, I got this bill, or whatever it is, oh my god, I gotta lose weight, or oh my god, I have back pain, whatever we're going through, it's important. And I think it's important that we honor ourselves and our feelings and never let anybody compromise how you feel. And so when I'm posting extra on Facebook, positive things, it's because I'm going through it. And when I do that, I find that I elevate myself. It's like therapy for me. And
yes,
and I think
yes.
that's so powerful, because someone said to me once, well, they said to me, I always look forward to the messages you put on Facebook. They give me energy. And the other day, for like 2, 3 days in a row, you were putting on, like every couple of hours, you were putting on really stuff that made me think. And I was like, those were the days that I was really down. They're like,
Mm,
wow. And I was like, yeah,
mm,
because I feel if I'm feeling here, I need something to pull myself out of that
mhm,
space, and sharing that energy and looking for the positivity, for that self inspiration. I have to share that. Got to give it
mm.
back out. And that's what I do. So,
That's awesome. I love it. Sam is saying that while you speak to all, and he loves that. Oh, thank you, Sam, for the compliment. He says, Martine, you impact a lot of us. Thank you. I
yes, you
appreciate
do,
that.
Martine. Yes, you do.
Thank you. Welcome, Meg's Talk. And Sam says he loves your energy. So that's awesome. And we have Phoenix Gibbs is here. Welcome aboard, sis. Thank you for
Hey,
supporting
my
Jackie.
sister. I love her. I love you,
Yes,
Phoenix.
who doesn't love Phoenix? I
I
mean, like
know, right?
seriously. How could you not? Lights, camera, action, figures. Thank you so much for joining and supporting Jackie Trinity. Ricky Valero, welcome aboard. Thank you for joining. Sue Her. Welcome aboard.
Oh,
Thank you for
see, yeah.
joining me. Okay. This is nice. I'm loving it. And I'm sure there's a lot more that's actually going to be trickling in and stuff like that. Yeah, they stop by sporadically and everything. So this is really, really good. Oh, thank you so much actually for being on stereo with me last week. We
That
had
was
such
fun.
a superb time. Those of you
Yes.
who don't know what stereo is, it's actually a podcast type of app. You can download it on your phone. It is Android and iPhone friendly. And
Yes.
we go and we just like talk our lives away based on whatever topic that we chose. So that's what we did last week, Jackie and I, and we had a fabulous time. It was a great way to reconnect, I would say, because
Yes,
Jackie
it
and I, we know
was.
each other for a little bit, but we haven't really been like in connection, since a little bit now. Like since the last time we actually physically saw each other. So yeah, that was huge. I loved it. It renewed us. And now we're here basically on this interview. And Jackie has the type of mood where whatever she says, however she says it actually falls nicely, like the best way ever. So I just always love everything that you have to say, Jackie.
Thank
Everything
you.
that you have to say. I believe that you also did you go down the road for authorship?
So I was part of a book with the Girlfriend Code Collective, and it
Mm-hmm.
was an anthology of 11. We were able to write a chapter, and it had to do with a breakthrough, like an empowerment. Like we came to this breakthrough and we were empowered. And it's been a year that we put that book out. If anybody's interested, I have some books left. I could always share the for you to get in contact with me. But it was a very interesting experience. The whole process lasted a little longer because when you're doing a project like that, you open it up to a lot of people, and a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
are very interested in, moving forward and doing it. And then there's things that's obstacles that stand in your way, or maybe you weren't expecting it, but it took a little longer. And I think that I'm glad that the whole process took a little longer because we were able to focus more, write more, and really go deep in. When I wrote my
Mm-hmm.
chapter, wow, I had to take steps back. And I'm not talking taking steps back like when I was in the military or in college or in high school. I went really deep because I was writing about what I had experienced, and it was face on, face off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about um, how I was able to create this imaginary, life that I had. And I learned how to do that because I had to learn how to be a liar when I was younger. And it sounds weird, but you and I had this
Mm-hmm.
conversation last week about when
Mm-hmm.
you grow up in a certain household, whether it's cultural or whatever happens at home stays at home. you don't
Absolutely.
you don't share what goes on. So I didn't share that. I was, I don't want to use the word victim. I was a survivor of domestic violence as a young child. um,
Mm-hmm.
and the funny thing is I was an MC for a fundraiser a few years ago in Brooklyn, in Park Slope, and I was asked to introduce the honoree and the woman that was doing the fundraiser for domestic violence. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time that I was able to stand on stage in front of 100 and some odd people and say that I was a product of domestic violence. And people
Mm-hmm.
looked at me and I said, I'm taking this moment as a very emotional and proud moment to say that. I said, but I know that in this room I'm not alone. I said, I
Mm-hmm.
know there's a lot of women here that have experienced that, but there's also a lot of men that have experienced that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then
And
they
they're the
they
ones who don't speak.
but they don't
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't see it the way they thought I was putting it out there. My perspective is that if you're in a home, in a household, and you're a child, boy or girl, and you
Mm-hmm.
live in an environment that's hostile and violent and cruel, and whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial abuse, because those are all forms of abuse, toxic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
then you've been exposed to that. And the only
Yes.
thing that we could only say is that whether we pray or meditate or put it out to the universe, that you're able to see that as you're growing up and don't fall into that. And I have a lot
Yes.
of great male friends that are advocates. I have a friend of mine, Antonio. He's big into Jericho Road, which is a domestic violence organization, Jericho Road. And he's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And we share those things. We have that connection. He's an amazing man. He's come from that, you know? And men like that is
Mm-hmm.
what makes it even better. And a woman can feel safe and a connection and to talk and to share and resources. He's one to go. So when you think it's
Mm-hmm.
only women, there's great men out there, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
my chapter included that. My chapter, and it was only one chapter, it included
Mm-hmm.
that and how my mother dealt with whatever she was dealing with my dad. My dad was an alcoholic. I loved my dad. He was my world, but he was an
Mm-hmm.
alcoholic and he was very abusive towards my mom. He wasn't abusive towards
Mm-hmm.
me, but to her. So I thought that that was how it was supposed to be because that's what we're
Yeah.
teaching our kids. So
Yeah,
when
that's
we're
what you're
talking,
saying. Mm-hmm.
exactly. So when we're looking at things in perspective, you always and you feel like this is wrong or whatever. We have to dig back and we have to really look back. Just like I said to you before, I always love for my kids to express their voices, especially my daughter, because I never did. My mom told me
Mm-hmm.
where to go, what to wear. This is how you're doing your hair. You're going to this high school. You're going to that college. I never said, no, I don't want to do that. Because in the chapter, I also shared that I had the disease to please. And sometimes I still have
Mm-hmm.
that disease. And when I see myself getting consumed by the disease to please, I'm like, sorry, that's not me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about
Mm-hmm.
being selfish, it's about being self full. So
Okay.
that one little chapter that I wrote had such an impact that I know that I have to do a solo book project, but I have time that is, you know, the right time.
Right.
And I always tell people, you know, when's the right time? Right now is the right time. But I'm still waiting for
It
the right
sure
time to do
is.
that. Yeah, but I'm always
If not
writing.
now, when?
I know. And my friend Maureen, she's the one who was my writing coach and my book person. And she was more than understanding with me. And I wanted to start this project with her, a solo book project, but then I was in a car accident with my daughter. And then last year I had a hip surgery and neck surgery, and I'm supposed to get another surgery. So she's been so understanding. She doesn't push me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm ready to be pushed in the way I need to, she will. But so far, whenever I get into my moments of writing, I can sit down anywhere for hours and just write. So I'm still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's work, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I'm still. But that
Awesome.
one chapter
Awesome.
that I wrote, it was like, wow. And it took a lot of, for me to be vulnerable to share that and to go step back and look at what I had gone through.
Let me tell you, those anthologies, some people may not think that they're uh, big time value. They really are because a
Yeah.
lot of people have become authors and move from there onto like very big projects from just an anthology. I mean, in 2015, my first story had came out, Becoming Natural, and that's how I became an author from a women empowerment movement
Yeah.
for chocolate vitamins in the women's soul. And then it continued on until I wrote my own anthology, Faces of Uterine Fibroids.
Yes.
So I've been published part of anthologies like 6 times
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's something that you could really take and put it into great value, make great impact with. And that one chapter that you keep saying is just
That
one
one chapter.
chapter, but those words in there have so much value, you know,
Absolutely.
and you released a part of you that was so deep inside, like a past wound, a past hurt,
Yeah.
from your childhood.
Yeah.
That's really, really deep.
Yeah. When I took those steps back and I was sitting, I think it was in my son's room and just like I'm sitting now, and I was thinking and I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot this happened. Oh my God. I forgot this happened." And I'm like, wow, now I know why I do this or why I think this way, because this happened. It's like I can easily close off in my mind negativity or negative things or things that hurt me. I know how to go now.
Yes.
Now, because I put it away, don't mean I forgot.
No,
But
it's just put to rest back there.
yeah, and the start of my chapter, I'm writing about how I remember, and this is another part of it, that my mom was giving me a bath, and she gave me a bath with very hot water. I was about, I would say, 3 or 4 years old. And I know that my son has said, Mom, I have memories from when I was 3 and 4 years old. So I know I'm not going crazy, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was, she had given me a very hot bath, and she was scrubbing me really hard. And the way I grew up, you take your panties and you wash your panties with the soap,
Yes.
with the
Mm-hmm.
Castillo soap, with the
Mm-hmm.
guava soap. And then after
Yeah.
you wash them, then you lather it up and you wash your body. And she was washing me, and I could, and me going back, I was so in tune and like really into it that I can smell the doing that, and top of her bed, and she's drying me off. And then my mother loved putting on baby powder. She had this little powder puff thing, and it's, you had looking all white because you're looking all with powder. And that was because my godfather had abused me. And I had told
Mm.
her, my godfather did this, Mommy. He touched me. He did this. And she was like, oh my
Mm.
God. And so that was, and victims who've been abused or raped or whatever go through that washing process. I got to scrub, I got to wash it
Mm-hmm.
off, because it's just part of
Mm-hmm.
like getting rid of it. And that's how I started my chapter, because she told me, my mom said, whenever we go to visit, my godmother and godfather, don't go near him. Like, how do you tell a 3 or 4 year old you can't go near him, or 5 year old?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was not allowed to tell my father, because I didn't know what my father
Hmm.
would do. My father
Mm-hmm.
had a hot temper.
Yeah. That's deep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's when you learn what stays in the house stays in the house. Happens in the house stays in the house. And it's about, shh, don't say nothing. So you
Yeah, I
learn to
totally
put it
understand.
away. So yeah, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like if I wanted to have someone come over, like sleep over or something when I was younger, I couldn't, because I didn't know if my dad would be drunk or
Oh
being
yeah.
mean to my
Yeah.
mother. So then that's when I had to start creating lies.
Mm.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, to cover it up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel that made me such a great storyteller, because I can talk to you and have stories about anything. I know how to adapt quickly. I know how
Mm-hmm.
to get people's attention. I know how to put things out there. I know how to ask questions, and I learned, and which is all a great thing. But when I look back where I started and where I got that from, I know where I got it from. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Writing that chapter also put you on a route for major healing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's why it took
Mm-hmm.
longer, and it was really heartfelt, and it was very powerful for me. And every time I read it, or I read it out loud, the draft and everything, I was like, wow, it got better. The hurt wasn't as much because I was embracing it. It was hidden behind. It was in the back, but I was able to embrace it
Mm-hmm.
because of all that and all the things that I've experienced. I am the person who I am. I am strong. I am more than enough. I am limitless. I can. I've faced so many things in my life that, like I tell my kids, you got to be problem solver. You got to find the options. What's the solution? Okay, this is it. You got 5 minutes to get it out of
Mm-hmm.
your system. Shit. 5 minutes is done. Okay, now how are we going to fix it? What are we going to do next? Sometimes you
Yeah,
don't
what's
have
the
five
solution?
minutes. Sometimes you got 2 minutes to
Yeah,
get it out of your system. After that, what are we going to do
that's
next?
true.
Now what? Now what? Especially
Yeah.
when you have people depending on you. Now what? So
Mm-hmm.
that was a very impactful chapter. And I promised myself that I'm going to do something with it. So I might have to talk
That's
to you,
really
because
good.
you might have to be that writing, inspirational, all that good coach stuff for me.
No problem. I'm here. I want to take the time to acknowledge more people who came through. Dwayne Hurt, Mr. Rush Turner. Um, let's see. Lady Darlene, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Thank you
Tino,
for allowing
welcome.
us to be in your space. We always have to thank people for allowing
Thank you
us to
all
be
for
in
the
their space.
support. Thank you for supporting
Yes.
Jackie Trinity right here on her interview on The Martine Show. So, another thing I wanted to get into before I lose my thought, because it's just so much excitement here. I mean, I'm so happy for you that you got the release because people do not understand, like, just writing that one chapter is huge and it
Yeah.
makes a difference. You know, there's a cost and a payoff to it at the same time. But to be able to release those emotions that were bottled up inside of you for years and years and years, that opens up many different doors for you moving forward. Like, do you feel that
Absolutely.
you really took care of that?
I feel a huge difference. I
Mhm.
continue to do a lot of writing. I like, remember you had this conversation with me. I always have a book and a pen, always,
Yes.
no matter
Yes.
where.
Yeah.
Listen, don't tell nobody, just between you and me. I even have post-its and a pencil in the bathroom.
I don't
Because
blame you.
girl, I might be taking a shower and whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, I have an idea. And I have to write it down because if not, I forget. Even when I'm writing, even when I'm at work, if I'm driving, if I stop at a light, I'll send myself a voice message, something, because sometimes I have an idea and I'm like, oh shit, that was amazing. I better write it down. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's funny because my kids, they all love writing. They all have, you know, they all have, I got pictures of my kids. They love writing, they love drawing, and they like that. And I like that they're connected like that, in their own way. I love
Yes,
that.
it's a lot of creativity.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
yeah, I love writing. I always have ideas. I always have something I want to share. Or I might have had a conversation with you and you said this on the third, and then I come across something or something presents himself, or I meet someone and I'll be like, oh shit, Martine needed this or she wanted a connection. This is the person I know who I can. And
Hmm.
once I make that connection, I feel like, okay, I did something, And it's not that I bought this or I gave you that. I created a connection, an impact, and that's what I like. That's what I like.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
That's
the
the
gift.
thing that,
That's the
yeah,
gift that you have. Yeah, you definitely have the gift to connect people, and you do it so nicely. Like your networking events are super. I love them.
I miss
Um,
doing them.
yeah, I'm sure because you do it
Yeah,
so well. You do it so
I miss
well.
doing
You
them.
know, like you said, we meet great people, very valuable, coming together, and it's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It is
everybody,
very fun.
whenever I've had an event, whether it's 10 people that show up or 50 people that show up or 100, they leave with laughter, great memories, new friends, new connections, following this one, supporting that one. Everybody leaves with something. There's great takeaways. And it's not only
Absolutely.
a goodie bag or having a nice appetizer, because I always make sure everybody got a nice appetizer and something to drink and a goodie bag. I always got to take care of my people and my supporters and my friends and everything else. But there's more to it that you're leaving with, stuff that
Mhm.
is just going to keep developing and evolving. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sam has a really funny comment. He says, I have the gift of gab, but if I wrote a book, people would follow me like Jesus. I'm sure they probably would. I'm not doubting you in that at all, Sam.
Mm-mm.
So let's get into the podcast because we know that you were on a podcast before, and we know that you have this thing for podcasting. So let us know exactly where we're getting with podcasting for you with women networking worldwide.
Why? So, I've been talking to our wonderful friend Phoenix since 2000, and I found a notebook since 2000. I found a notebook since 2017, turning into 2018, that she said, Jackie, you need to start a podcast. You need to do stuff on YouTube. And I was like, and I looked at it like a week and a half ago, and I was like, no, 2 weeks ago, and I was like, look at the date on this. I'm like, oh my God, she told me. And to be honest, I was so scared of a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see it on TV and my kids watch podcasts and you see the whole setup and this on the third and it looks like a room in an asylum that, you know, like with the padding and all the, you know, and I'm like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to buy. So I started researching podcasts and which is the best equipment and which is the middle best equipment and which is the least expect equipment. And you need all these. I didn't know. Like I didn't. And then I'm thinking, okay, so I wanted the perfect scenario and I need the perfect intro and the outro and I need the perfect flyer and I need to do that. And I don't need to do all that. I realized it took me all these years to figure that out. Ain't that some crazy shit? You know, it's as simple as when you told me about stereo.
Yeah, stereo is a podcasting style, and then we went on last week and we did a show, and you were like, "That's it." I'm like, "Yeah, we did that. Done. We're
That
on
was
for an hour. We could have been on longer. We're on for an hour. We didn't even know where the time went. Right? That's number one. And then afterwards, I'm like, "Well, if you really want to do a podcast, I mean, just get on Anchor. You could do it through your phone, you know." And and I
and
sent you the link.
I'm thinking 2-3 years ago. And but that's what I really thought, that I had to do all this stuff. And then when you go on YouTube and you see some people's YouTube and all the, you know, the setup, and I'm like, okay, where, you know, where we were living in Brooklyn, we had a 2-bedroom apartment so I'm thinking, do I gotta find a little corner over here and put something up? You know, I didn't I didn't know. I wanted it to be, and that was my fault. Oh, I wanted it to be perfect. And no, I have a friend of mine. Her name is Jessica. And Jessica says, you just got to be present.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
Exactly.
okay. And during my time that I had my surgery and I wasn't feeling well and I was dealing with that and not being able to work, and disability don't pay you what you think you should get paid. Let me tell you, that was
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
stresses that I was
Mm-hmm.
going through with short-term disability because, I mean, and I would always say, when I got that disability check for $170 every week, after taxes, it was $156.99. I would be like, thank you, because I can buy some milk and stuff and food. But after you're used to working and being so independent and me taking care of my children for so many years, that was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So that made me feel down and depressed, you know, and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
my friend Jessica told me, be present, start posting, because I wasn't posting for a while. I was still looking at people, with, you know, they were doing, and I would be supporting, very limited. But she said, start being present, start being, you know, posting. And Phoenix has always been like, no, you can do this and you can do that. And she's like so easy on, yeah, you can do this. And you're like,
Yeah.
really? That's it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you invited me to stereo and we did that, that was amazing. I also had another um call. We did a stereo on, when was it, this Tuesday, with my
Mm-hmm.
friend Omar
Mm-hmm.
King McCrae. He's on his third book, and I told you that he is talking about love and he's doing a documentary, and we did a whole show. And I was in Brooklyn because I had to get an MRI for my lower back and my spine. My son was, you know, driving from Brooklyn all the way home and stuff. And that whole hour, I was on the phone with him on stereo, and we
See?
did a show.
See? See? And you were
Girl,
podcasting the whole time.
girl, and I told him, and he was like, real? For real? I was like, absolutely. It was great. We spoke about mental health awareness and healing.
Nice. Nice. I love it.
And I told
Mm-hmm.
him, I said, that's not just a one-time conversation.
Oh no, that's continuous.
That's a continuous conversation.
You could do
So
a series on that one with many different divisions.
absolutely. And
Non-stop.
so
Mm-mm.
I thank you for giving me the power, the light, and the permission for me to start this, because now I feel like I'm being present, I'm being consistent, you know.
You
Um,
are.
I shared it with my friend Sabrina, where she's an amazing singer from Red Sahara, and she's doing Back to Nature. My friend Erica, also, that I was going to tell you, my friend Erica Ishameen, she and I were talking about Scream on Paper. And
Mm-hmm.
a program that she's doing, a workshop, a book about, she doesn't like cussing. She don't like
Mm-hmm.
cussing people out. So what she has to
Mm-hmm.
say to that person, she puts it on paper.
Mm,
And
okay.
she has a project called Letter to My Abuser. And I'm using
Yeah.
that when I have my family group with my kids. Well, we tend to have family group at least once a week or once every other week for
Okay.
them, for whatever they felt trauma or they felt bad or whatever, whomever made them feel that way, you're going to write a letter to that person. And I told them
Mm,
it's safe because you don't have to send the letter. You're just
mm-hmm.
those
Mm-hmm.
emotions and feelings out because I
That's
don't
very
want them to
good
put it
therapy.
away. Yeah. So I told them we're going to do that. And you can do it whenever you want. You don't have to do it together. But when you're
Yeah.
done, you're going to fold it up and then you're going to release it. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it doesn't help everyone, or it might not help you on the first try or second try, but it's a process. Everybody has their own process and it has to be respected and honored. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
That
thank
is,
you for,
of course, that is actually a technique that they teach you in self-development class, self-help class, and
mhm,
writing that letter,
yeah,
to whomever. And you don't necessarily have to give them. It's for you, you
yeah,
know. And sometimes
yeah.
you write the letter and you could mail it to yourself,
You
and you
can if
read
you
it.
wanted to.
And
Hmm.
it's like there's a different emotion. There's a transition type of emotions from the time that you were writing the letter to the time that you say you go back and you reread the letter, or you send it to you and then open it like it's mail for you. And you're like,
Yes,
oh my God, like I went through this, I said this, and this is what I got. Like it's a lot of releasing, and it
it
helps.
is.
It does help. But it depends on where you are in your life with that personal situation. You know,
Absolutely.
um,
And that's why I said sometimes it might take more than one letter or two letters, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's going to take that time. And when I was telling my daughter and my sons, they asked, well, did it help you? And I'm like, it has helped me a lot. Because like you said,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll write down something that I want to manifest in one of my books, in one of my journals, because I have a few. And I'll go back and I'm like, oh, wow, wait a minute. I accomplished this, and this one I'm still working on, and this one I have to plan on it. I feel like I did
Mm-hmm.
something, you know? And with the
Yeah.
letter, the transformation or the transition, like you said, I forgive myself for being in that situation. I don't say, it's your fault you did this to me. I'm
Yeah.
expressing my feelings to me. I'm
Yeah.
expressing my feelings and my emotions. And now I'm not accountable for it anymore. I'm putting it on that person's accountability, but they don't even know it though, because you're not
Yes.
gonna let them know. You're not gonna text them. You don't
No.
have to do all that. You can just write
No.
that letter and that's it. You know?
Yeah. And you know
Yeah,
what? It takes such a big load off of your shoulders.
it
Like you
does.
have no idea.
It does.
It's something to experience. It really is.
It is. It is
Um,
absolutely. I
it's
agree.
powerful. It's powerful. Powerful. Like, and every scenario is like that letter version type of, I would say, technique. Whenever you utilize it, it works. It works differently for whatever the situation is, but it does come up with some type of solution, one way or the other,
Oh,
some type of
absolutely.
release, or the load has been lifted,
Yeah.
and it's great. I love
Yeah.
it.
I mean, even talking about it, it's like I feel happy that I'm able to talk about it without feeling, oh, you know, I'm like, yeah, I feel
Yes,
it's just part of that freedom, that release, that letting go.
a lot
Absolutely.
of freedom. A lot of freedom. Like you come to the point where you ended something, it's at a completion phase, and you feel liberated.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, you
Feel
do.
very
Yes,
much
you do.
liberated.
And I think also like us talking like this, me sharing and being vulnerable. Vulnerability is never being weak. I think it's always being strong. And I
Mm-hmm.
like this, me sharing about what I'm doing, the chapter, and all this other stuff, because it's an example. If you look at my chapter and you're like, oh my God, I never know she went through this whenever she was in the military. Me sharing it, I'm claiming it. It's mine. You can't use it against me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at the end of the day, all I want to
Absolutely.
do and everything I do is be able to stand in my own power and shine. We all need to
Hmm.
do that. We all need to
Yes,
do that.
And like you were telling me before too, when I was sharing with you, because of Faces of Uterine Fibroids, and you're like, yo, Martine, you went through all of this, but the thing about it is that the amount of people that you have on your YouTube and the amount of people you have basically touched and everywhere on your social media, those are the amount of stories that you actually told, because those people have received your story individually, their way, by that particular number. So if you have like 300 people listening to you or 500 people listening to you, you got like 500 stories,
Because
300 stories.
you said you only had a story. Well,
Yeah.
let me tell
Yeah.
you, that story had a lot of babies, and it's just reproducing. It's like rolling its evolution, because that stories
It's true.
it's going on. So you don't have one
Hmm.
stories, you have 30,000 stories, and you know you do, because you have a following of 30,000 on a worldwide level.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that's
Yes,
important to
I do.
say.
Yes, I
I,
do.
at the end of the day, I always think it's very, very important to support each other. There's so many great people that I've met recently in my life. Like, there's this one girl that I work with. Her name is Andrea. She's amazing. Her and her husband are supportive in projects that I'm working on, and they're helping me. Um, I have so many people there. I have a friend of mine, a childhood friend of mine, Rob Soto. He's amazing. Anything and everything that I do, he's always like my number one male cheerleader besides my
Hmm.
kids. He's amazing.
Hmm.
My old partner from work, Sean, amazing. I have such amazing people in my circle. It's like it's wonderful. And we don't always, and we spoke about this, we don't always talk on the phone every day. We don't have to. I'm not that type of person. I gotta talk to you every day. I'm
Me neither.
sorry.
Me neither.
But
It's like, oh, this is what happened to me.
but if I do text you or I do send you a message, I always like
Yeah.
that there are some people that you have this continuous flow of energy. And I said that to you,
Hmm.
because at any
Hmm.
time I can be like, hey, how you doing? This on the third, or great rising, my queen. Just want to let you know that you're amazing. And I send those messages to different people. And I send
Yes,
it
you
to
do.
men too. Good
Yes.
rising
Hmm.
king, you're
Oh,
more than
yeah.
enough,
Oh,
because we
yeah.
are. Sometimes it's great to once in a while, you could be annoyed, like, who the heck is texting me now? Oh, wow, that's a great message. That's all I wanted to accomplish. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. I
It's
don't want you to
true.
buy
It's true.
this or buy a book or this. Listen, if you want to contribute, want to do this, you want to collaborate, that's always a plus. But as long as I made you to say, that you read it and you feel, okay, great. Maybe at that point you needed
Yeah.
that.
Yes. And you know what? It keeps the rapport alive, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not coming to the person doesn't feel like you're only using them for something, or you only
No,
need them for something. You know,
exactly.
it's appreciation, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah, of course. I think that's very
Hmm.
important. We need to do that more. Us, our community, our people, humanity, we need to support each other more, love each other intentionally. We're loved, you're loved. Sometimes we don't have it, we don't hear it from anybody. So if no one tells
Hmm.
you you're amazing or you're loved, well, I'm going to be the one who's going to tell you.
Yeah, I hear that, and you sure will. You sure will.
And I've been learning to say, like, today is your day in other languages, because I want to reach everybody worldwide. That's
I
my
hear
will.
that.
Hmm.
I hear that. That's nice. So we have White Eyebrows who join us. Welcome aboard, GQ of those people. Welcome. Thank you for supporting Jackie Trinity. And who else? Oh, Sam has a message. He says, you should send us messages because we are emotional too. Yes, when it comes to men,
Yes.
yes. And that's something that I do. I actually do that. And it has worked really, really well.
Hmm.
Some men are a little funny about it because they normally do not receive messages like that. So that it feels kind of weird, but once they
But
get used to your kind, they'll know that, okay,
exactly.
she's just like that,
Yeah, no,
and that's all it
absolutely.
is. So they know me when it comes to that. Like, and it's been a good thing, and it's been part of me for a while. I'm like, why can't you just you know do it for a guy? Like, what's wrong?
Exactly. I
You
was
got guy friends. You don't have to have girlfriends.
I mean, I have friends of mine, male friends, that are amazing. I have friends of mine that I consider my brother. like you're her
Yeah.
brother, you know what I'm saying? And when I was doing part of my women's networking, I was doing something called Signature Talks, which is something I
Mhm.
spoke to Phoenix and I wanted to do to put on YouTube and whatever. But I always liked that personal touch, that interaction. So for quite a few times, like every other month or once a month, and this was before COVID, this was in 2019, I was meeting, I had a lot of friends in the restaurant business. A lot of restaurants are closed now. But what I would do
Mhm.
is I would either once or twice a month invite 5 to 10 women. And I would
Mhm.
be like, okay, so I'm going to have an event. I want you to come share a glass of wine with me and some
Mhm.
appetizers. And I know I had reached out, but I don't remember what you were doing. And I had quite a few different women
Yeah, I
going.
remember there was one that
Yeah,
it was close to my way, and then I couldn't go at that time. Yeah,
exactly.
because you used to do
And
them in every borough almost.
yeah,
I know. Yeah,
so I
yeah.
was doing that, and then I would have my friend and brother Darren. He would take pictures and do videos, and we would talk about, what influences you. You're a woman of influence, and I celebrate you. And
Mhm.
a lot of women were
Mhm.
like, "Really, me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, tell me about yourself. Share with everybody
Mhm.
else." And the women that were there would leave hugging and shaking hands and following each other. And then I said to myself, there's so many other women on social media doing that for women. What about the men? So in June, I did an influencer men, gathering, and it was amazing. The love, the
I'm sure.
support, how I was able to ask them, who is that one woman in your family that was impactful and influential, who held that family together? And they were able
Mhm.
to go back and think about mom or grandma, and like things like that. Amazing. I
Mhm.
think that's important. We
It,
always have to, I know that there's some fathers out there that need work, but shit, there's some
yeah,
moms out there too that need work. That means
yeah.
we ain't gonna
But
knock
you
all
know,
the
one
women
one thing
down.
about it, absolutely. But one thing about needing work is that sometimes the need work is not so much the bad part. It's just you know, some things don't come, a lot of things don't come with a book of directions, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to parenting and all that stuff. So they're actually doing their best of what they know of. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Of what they know of is very important. But at the same time, if they're shown a different way to do something, then they could have a new way to implement things. But a lot of times nobody's showing them nothing. Nobody's showing them, anything new. Nobody's trying to have a conversation with them. So the
Hmm.
conversation that you strike with the signature talks is very important because it puts people in route to at least start having a conversation. Some people don't have conversations in their house. Some
I know
families
they
don't
don't.
communicate at all. You know,
No,
some husbands and wives do not communicate at all. There's no communication.
no.
Everything is
And
broken.
they realized it when they had to stay home and close quarters during COVID. You know how
2020,
many
let me tell
you know
you,
how many
everything,
breakups there were?
yes, everything happened for a reason. Okay.
Yeah.
People needed to get reconnected with themselves, number one,
Yeah.
so that they can find out who they actually really are, to then now find out who they are actually really with.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Some people had to find out who they were on a personal level. Are you happy in this job? Maybe you're not there now
Yeah.
because you need to find another job. Or don't you want to write a book, or don't you want to start a business, or don't you want to move? And this was a time that people had no choice but to reflect and think and process and write and detox and clean and get rid of and all that cleaning and detoxing is not only the house but yourself. It
Yeah.
starts with
Personal
you.
declutter. Yeah.
Yeah. And how
Personal
many
mental declutter.
so when you hear people saying, oh, it was a bad year, it's all how you look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
things happen. People got sick. We lost a lot of
Yeah,
people, but we also
for sure.
learned how we have to learn how to take care of ourselves, well-being. Something as
Yes.
easy as washing your hands, how to wash your
Girl.
hands, or some personal space. I remember being in DMV in downtown Brooklyn by Atlantic Avenue and being online, and the person behind me was actually sitting on my shoulders. Like,
Yes. Yes.
can you step back?
Yes. Yeah. 6 feet,
So
darling.
we learned a lot of stuff. We
Back it
learned a
up.
lot. Come on, like,
Yes.
really? Horrible.
Respect that personal space. Yes.
Yeah. So there was a
Yes.
lot of great things that came out of 2020. A lot. We can't only focus on
Mm-hmm.
COVID. Yeah, but COVID did a lot. There was a lot that came out of that. Better medical
Mm-hmm.
system, better
Mm-hmm.
cleanliness in some hospitals. You would go to some hospitals and you had to be walking over stuff on the floor that shouldn't be on the floor. That
Yeah,
should have
they
been
were
in a
forced to
red hazmat.
disinfect.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things. So there was a lot to be learned. We always have to find the positive out of everything. Life lessons, you know, trauma. We went through it, and sometimes it takes a long time. Everybody's different. You got to honor your process. You have to honor yourself. But at the end, there's a lesson to be learned, and it has to be highlighted. And that's what you have to say. Okay, this is what I got, and I'm going to
Yes.
move forward with this, and I'm going to bless forward with this, and that's done, and it's gone, and it's over
Mm-hmm.
the past, and now let's move forward. And be kind to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and be kind to other people. If you can't be kind to other people, then mind your business. Stay to yourself. Cultivate kindness. Yeah, cultivate kindness. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Be true to yourself and be true to people. Don't be two-faced. Don't. There's so much of that, and we have to learn to be different.
Mm-hmm. So we have Black Baroness 24. Welcome aboard. Will 7568. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me ask you, you've been talking about YouTube. So when should we expect to be able to follow it on YouTube?
Well, once I'm done working on my projects with my coach, Martine,
Okay.
then we'll
Oh,
we'll have
okay.
another conversation. Okay?
Okay.
Because
Okay. I hear you.
I'm developing my women's networking worldwide, and
Yes, I
I'm
want to
very
see that on a grand scale, and it should be on YouTube. I'm letting you know now.
thank you.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I'm working on all of us learning to what it is to love intentionally. Just remember
Oh,
that.
yes.
Love
Yes.
intentionally. We have to. Love means a
Yes.
lot of things, and we all need a little bit of love. So, yeah.
Yes. And you could never get enough of it.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Never.
No. Yeah.
And like you said, limitless. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're all enough, so we're all deserving and worthy of love.
And that's applicable to all men and women,
And
and
women.
or however you identify yourself. You are loved, you are amazing, you're beautiful, you're strong. It doesn't matter. You want to feel like this today and like that tomorrow. It doesn't matter. We all go through that, and we all have
Hmm.
to be respected, and we all have to be loved, and we are more than enough. And I and
Absolutely.
and I am so happy when I see people that express who they are and how they feel. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of courage. Wow, that's
Hmm.
amazing. Like, I really honor that. Or even um women that are plus sizes, or women that are too tall, or I'm feeling this way, and you're so proud of who you are and how you stand. It's amazing. Like, I look at that courage and I'm happy. Like, I really can say, wow, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's a beautiful thing, and you could feel it. You could
Yeah,
feel the courage. So
absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
it's nice.
It is. It's
So
such.
we know that you're in leadership with women empowerment, but you speak so profoundly of men empowerment. Will there be a program for men empowerment coming through?
Um, I would want to do something because I think it's important, like we've been saying, that we highlight and celebrate ourselves, and each other. We can't do it without, we all have to come
Mhm.
together. So I think that's very
Absolutely.
important. Absolutely. When I see anything on Facebook or IG, and it's even if it's a man, even more so, and they're saying things that resonate with me, of course, absolutely. There's one guy who's amazing, Jason Rosario. He's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I follow him. He's amazing. He's such a man's man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only way I can describe him. He's like amazing.
So the thing about it is that from you probably on Facebook and everywhere else, I mean, we come from women empowerment type of programs,
Hmm.
from being an author and all this stuff. So there are quite a few of them, a lot of groups for those things. My journey with women empowerment, truthfully, like my authorship journey with women empowerment started in 2015. So we've been doing this for a bit now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But the thing about it for men at that time, when I started in 2015, there was not even one men empowerment movement. Okay.
no,
Men empowerment movement actually started, like the first one I went and I attended was actually in 2018. I
really,
remember. Yeah, there was one in 2018, and it was something that they were actually trying. And what was funny is that in order to really kick start it, I remember it was in Manhattan. It was a really nice day. They had it in Manhattan, and in order to kick started, some women attended, and then they had some men there. So basically, the way it was like the women brought their husbands or their their boyfriends and stuff like that to be there, so as support. And it turned out to be such a good hit. But of course, with COVID now and everything, there aren't any real movements going on. But it was so funny. The person that actually created it was actually a woman too.
oh, good, really,
Yes. Yes. She's a woman from Honduras. And
okay,
yeah, she created a men empowerment movement. And that's the only one that I really know of to say, but I will actually look for the link so that I can
yeah, please,
connect with that, because
okay,
it's really nice. It's really nice. But there aren't there aren't that many, like, it's not as many as the women empowerment movement. It's very selective, and you still need to help the men to be able to go out there so that they could be able to speak their stories, speak their truth, and really get within and be like, you know what, this happened to me, whatever, this is what I went through, but I'm ready to drop it today. Here it is. However they're going to
absolutely,
do it, but it's a
yeah,
form of a release, which is a good exercise. And
no,
I think that
absolutely.
us as women, we need to support the men more, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, I have three men in my house, my sons.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
need them to, those bad moments that we had, whatever issues I was going on a domestic aspect at home, no matter how I tried to shield them, no matter how I tried to make believe, no matter how they saw the truth.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't, I there's only so much you can hide. And and that's why it's important to me as well, because my three boys are growing up to be men, are men. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
So I can't say this and not do that. I need to support on
Mhm.
all levels. So that's why it's important to me, you know? We have
Absolutely.
to start breaking that chain. It's great for men to be emotional. It's great for them to be vulnerable. It doesn't take you from being a man. It empowers you in being a great man, I
Right.
think.
And it puts them also en route to break their part of the generational curse, also generational
Absolutely.
healing. It's
Absolutely.
ultimately necessary on all sides,
Yeah,
you
and they
know?
might be that
And
mentor for a nephew, a cousin, yet alone their
hmm
own children. So, of
hmm
course, I think it's very important that we support, encourage, empower, uplift men. Why not? I mean, I've
yeah,
been doing it because I have three, I used to say three prince. I have three prince, and I'm like, wait. I don't want them to grow up to be a prince. I want them to be kings because
things. Yes.
yeah, so I have three of them. And in teaching them, then I'm teaching my daughter what to look for, what's
Mm-hmm.
acceptable, to have high standards, to be selective, not to settle, for her to use her voice, to be creative, to be empowered. And I love that. So
Hmm.
whatever, I'm the type of parent that if I didn't have this, or I wasn't able to do that, I want my kids to do that. I want them to have that freedom, that choice, those options. I want those moments. I want them to have that. So,
Right. And another thing I want to highlight on the men's side, as well as the women's side, but the men's side also, we need to actually acknowledge that mental health is really high. on the
Oh,
men's side
yes.
because they do not speak. They're not used to speaking.
Mm-hmm.
They're not used to sharing,
Yes.
you know? So that's why, like, as a woman, you have to be pretty much mindful and a little bit more compassionate towards
Yes.
your man because you need to understand the psychology of a man. You
Yes.
know, it's not like all the things that you think it's supposed to be, like the way you want it. It doesn't fall that way because they don't compute the same way that we do. First of all, they're not as keen as we are because there's certain things that we are more in. I'm not saying it maliciously.
No, no, I
It's
get it.
that's what it is. But the thing about it, they don't understand that you have to work in partnership so that you can help him, okay, get to that point. And when I say help, not carry, but be there and hold space and support.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just like I hold space here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. for everybody to come through and tell their story. The same thing,
Absolutely.
hold space for your man so that he can be able to come to you and be like, you know what, XYZ, this is what's going on in my head, and not make him feel like, he's weird or
Mm-hmm.
what is he talking about, or this does not make sense. Be a man, that's sissy, that's this, that's that. Come on.
Exactly. Exactly. I went through something like that with my son, and I was sharing with Omar King the other day on Tuesday with mental health. My son was telling me he was taking AP classes online because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And he texted me and said, "Ma, can you talk?" I wasn't home, and I texted him back. My younger son, he's quiet. So when he says, "Ma,
Mm-hmm.
can you talk?" Listen, I don't care if I'm standing on one foot on the ledge. Papi needs to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yeah, I can talk." He's like, "Can I FaceTime you?" Absolutely. What's up? Mom, really stressed. I'm failing. I feel like such a fail. I feel like I'm stupid. I don't get this. I don't understand. And I want to make you proud. And I was doing so good in school until COVID. And that was his breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because our children, our scholars are going through so much with COVID. A lot of them in the beginning thought, "Oh, I don't got to get up and go to school. I'm home. I can get up. I can be in my pajamas and be laying down and turn on the computer and be." Now they miss going to school. They miss their
Mm-hmm.
friends. They miss
Mm-hmm.
that interaction. A lot of our children, our scholars, leaving the house and going to school was their getaway, their safe
Mm-hmm.
haven, because they were going through
Yep.
whatever at home. We got to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody learns different, just like everybody teaches different. And we have so many of our children, and I have these conversations with other women. This one, the kid is learning, still doing good in school. This one, is doing honors. This one is completely lost. Everybody's different. Our
Yes.
attention
The
span is
capacity is different.
different. It's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
different. So when my son told me that, and he was on the verge of tears, and I said, "Puppy, hold on a second. Take a breath and breathe. When do you have the
Mm-hmm.
class?" "I have the class in an hour. I'm completely lost. I don't understand. I feel stupid." First of all, you're not stupid. Everybody learns
Mm-hmm.
different. You're learning a lot of new things, and you're taking college courses online. It's You're not the only
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yeah.
I said, you have a good rapport with the teacher. Send a text to the teacher and share with the teacher, whether you want to text them or call them and say, "This is what I'm going through."
Mm-hmm.
If you and the teacher come to the decision that you want to drop the class and maybe start again the next semester, I'll support you. But if you decide you
Mm-hmm.
want to stay in the class and you need help doing work or studying or researching, I'm here to help you. No matter what, I love you. You're not stupid because you've been an honors kid since you were in elementary school and even in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that you're not connecting because the material, the online, but don't feel that way. I said, "But thank you for talking to me." And
Yes.
you could see the sense of relief after I told him that.
Yeah.
And he felt better. And he
Yeah.
dropped the class for that semester. And when he started the next semester and he took the class, he felt better.
Mm-hmm.
And I
But the
said,
good thing about it is that you're also an understanding mom, where you had a simple conversation with him and you didn't bring him down. You actually
"No,
lifted him up.
Yeah.
See, the thing about it is that a lot of parents, they tend to bring you down when you're already down. So you go
Yeah.
down, 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 and then you're lost, you're done. Or you
Mm-hmm.
make a decision in your brain that's like, listen, I'm not going to let that happen to me again because they're not going to talk to me like that again. And guess what? I'm not going to position myself in that manner so they don't approach me like that anymore. So it's cut deal. You don't want to hear them. You don't want to talk to them. You don't want to see them. And you probably flunk out of school anyway,
Exactly.
because you're like,
Yeah.
forget it. I'm not doing this. It
Mm-hmm.
happens all the time, just out of a simple conversation. It could either go up or down,
Yes.
and if the conversation goes up, there's a continuity. It keeps flowing and it keeps going another way. But the person that they're speaking to, that parent or that advisor, whoever, has to
Mm-hmm.
be uplifting them during that conversation, not beating them down. Be like, oh my God, how could you do that? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's stupid and this.
That,
And
yeah. The teacher was very supportive because then the teacher emailed me and said, hi, mom, Kevin's mom. He told me that he spoke to you prior. He told me this on the 3rd. Our game plan is this on the 3rd. Thank you for being supportive. However I can continue to support him, please let me know. It was great. It was great.
Mhm.
It was a great, exchange. It was really good. It made him feel better. And I told him, I said, that's what it's all about. I said, it's okay when you're confused and you don't know and you don't understand. You have resources, even online, Google Classroom. I think you can hit the button and it shows like you're raising your hand. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
or you can send a message privately, that no
yeah,
one else needs to know your business. And
hmm,
he felt so much better. He felt so
yeah.
much better. And all that anguish. And I said that in regards to mental health because we are our worst enemies.
Yes, we are.
We
I
are
had this
not.
conversation today with a girlfriend of mine. I said, we are our worst enemies.
Yeah,
Exactly what you said is what the conversation
yeah,
was all about.
we have to be kind to ourselves. We have
Yeah,
to be
we are our worst
loving.
critics.
We
We are
are, we're
our worst
horrible,
critics.
horrible, horrible. Like, come on, man, really? And it's true. It's true. I did
Hmm.
a workshop with an amazing woman, Lisa Nichols, amazing
Okay.
woman.
Yes.
And one of my very good long-term friends, Alicia from the dojo, she's been a mentor to my kids, but publicly she's
Hmm.
known as Dr. Allie Griffin.
Okay.
I don't call her Dr.
Okay.
Allie. I mean, I respect her titles and her position and
Yes,
everything,
of
but
course.
she's been my friend Alicia, and her mom is mom. Um, I
Yes.
would say for over, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years or something like that. And
Yes.
um, just we have to be kind to ourselves, and we're not. Like, you'll look in the mirror, oh my God, this could be me, I can tell you. Oh my God, I'm fat. Oh my God. Oh my God, I have my hair's too gray, I got a diet. Oh my God, I gotta do my eyebrows. Oh my God, I feel this. I can't say in the mirror, oh my God, Jackie, you are amazing today. If I learned to
Hmm.
say that from before, I would be fine. We put ourselves
Yeah,
down so bad. We really
we
do.
do.
We
We
do.
do.
We need to learn to be kind to ourselves first, to love
Mm.
ourselves first, to be our own
Hmm.
priority first. And that's why I
That's
said
right.
I am limitless and I am more than enough. Damn right. I'm a lotto ticket. That's how I see it.
But I love the way you put first at everything, and a lot of people need to recognize that they come first.
That's right.
Okay, you come first. Everything starts with you. You have to put the foot first. You have to step first.
It's true.
You know.
And you know who told me that? A man,
Hmm.
my
Yeah.
godfather. My
Hmm.
godfather, Jose Ortiz, may he rest in peace. I was telling him, oh, I don't know what I was talking about, because, I'm trying to be a good mother. I'm trying to put my kids first and I'm doing this. And he told me, no. And I was like,
Hmm.
what? Old school. No, big, big bushy mustache, that big old, Puerto Rican mustache. And he was like, no, Nana, you don't put the kids first. You first. And I was like, what?
That's right.
What do you mean
Yeah.
I'm first? I can't be first. My kids come first. Because he
No.
says, if I'm not good and I'm not strong and I'm not healthy, how can I be there for my kids?
Exactly. How you gonna take care of them?
I didn't know that shit. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's the same.
I
It's the same scenario on the plane when they tell you when you get on the plane if there's an
put
emergency,
the
you put
mask
your mask
first.
on first.
Yeah, yeah.
Yours first, and then you put the child's mask on. It's
But
not the other way
see,
around.
the way I was raised was, you do for your children, you do for your
Yeah,
family. You're
yeah.
married, you do for your husband. You gotta, whatever he dishes out, you gotta take, because that's what it is. That's how my mother was. She
Mm-hmm.
was the first man that she was with, the only man she was with, the man she was married to was my father. So when I remember being old enough and I used to tell my mother, and my father would get upset and send us down to the basement or put us out. Why don't you leave Papi? And she was like, oh, I can't, because I'm married to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens when you're married. And I was like, oh, wow. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
thought was normal. And
Yeah.
then I was in a
Yeah.
situation like that. And I was like, I'm not happy.
No way.
I'm trying to protect my
Mm-hmm.
kids from a monster. And guess what? I couldn't. After a while, you get tired and drained.
Yes, you do.
And
You really do.
then things happen. And so I learned the hard way, but I'm a better
Mm-hmm.
person. And I'm never going to say, well, you did this to me. I made choices too. I
Mm-hmm.
chose to stay
Mm-hmm.
there, you
Yes.
know? So bad choices, but I learned
Yeah,
great life lessons, and I feel like I'm an amazing person because of that. I'm
absolutely.
not holding grudges. I don't have regrets. I had to go through that so I can know who the person I am now. That's it.
Yes. Let me acknowledge Faith and 50 who's in the room and Santos Nay 9. Welcome aboard. Thank you for supporting Jackie Trinity on her interview.
And thank
Well,
you for
Jackie,
supporting Martine, also, Author Martine Mayas.
yes. Jackie, it's been such a pleasure to have you here on the Martine Show. I mean, we touched and elaborated on so many different aspects.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
I am definitely a stand for your growth, so I'm looking forward to that YouTube channel as well as
Thank
the
you.
podcast. Okay,
We got to talk
and by
tomorrow,
all
you and
means,
I.
yes. By the way, I also have stereo going on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So
Okay.
it's going to be with Faith, who's actually on the live here. We're going to be talking about handling your stress. So if you want to chime in, to come
Okay.
and support us by all means. That's open to everyone as well. And we
Okay.
just had your annoying friend Car, who just came on. Welcome aboard. But yeah, so I definitely want to really congratulate you on all of your progress, all of your success,
Thank
and
you.
you're always rising, which I love. A queen who's always rising because you're always looking to better yourself year to year, day to day, month to month. That's what you do. That's what you're all about. And it shows,
Thank you.
it shows. We feel it, we experience it, and I love it. So once again, thank you again for being with us. And if you have anything else that you would like to leave or one last word for the people, just let us know.
So I do have some amazing queens and kings that I have to send your way to your show that I'm going to let you know. And I
Okay.
want to thank everybody for letting us be in your space and in your ear. Thank you for the support. Support each other, share each other, and love intentionally. Be kind to yourselves first.
For sure, for sure. Thank you so much. So this is the end, guys. Come back next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. EST. The Martine Show will be on, and we'll have a new guest celebrating the Women's Series for the Women's Month. Take care. Have a good one. Good
Have a good
night.
night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.